This is day 115 of Zohar, Pshat, and we're on Daf Yudal and Amarav, in the middle of the 14th Commandment, which is Shmir Shabbos. So it talked about the Ruchin, which were created in the Mazikin Ben Hashmoshos and Erev Shabbos, according to Mishnah Avos, and here, similarly, just before it's Kaddish Yoima. And I think I have more clarity in the piece today, in continuation, and I'd like to make it clear here that I believe the Zohar is talking on a simple level, the many levels, which is Zohar's written, but we're doing here two Zohar Pshat. And as we've said, as close as possible, had to have the way the Rama might have learned Zohar had he had Zohar. And the idea here is the idea of Oneg Shabbos, and how Oneg Shabbos came into the world. And we are going to start from the little bit up from where we finished yesterday, one line above that. Came into Chamakut Shabrichu, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines at the bottom. Came to Chamakut Shabrichu Kach, once the Kosh Baruch Hu saw that these Mazikin were coming into the world, the Sitra Achar, on account of the sin of Adam Rishon, obviously. Is army Goyelana, the Chaye, he aroused from within the tree of life, Neshiva the Rucha, Uvatash Bilana Achra. He caused the wind to blow, and it kicked the other tree. Vit atar isar, and they aroused Sitra Achar the Tov. Now, as he said yesterday, Sitra Achar the Tov could mean one of two things: the other side, which is good, or the good side of the Sitra Achra, and they can both be true. But the point is like this: the whole idea of Oneg Shabbos is the idea of being Mekadosh the Chol, of taking something which could be a Sitra Achra, something which could be just Passer Taiva and other Taivas, and be Mekadosh it, and using the Shem Shemayim and making a mitzvah out of it. And this idea of the spirit of Tov overcoming the spirit of Ra. And there was a clash for Gufin. If the spirit of Ra had gotten a Guf, it would have meant that all Chomer in this world, all material existence, would be subject to, would be under the influence of evil, which is a very non-Jewish idea. In other religions, you have this idea, and that's why Kedusha in other religions is to refrain from this world, separate from this world, lead in a completely ascetic lifestyle, because anything material is bad. In Judaism, we don't believe that the goof, the chomer of the world, is intrinsically bad. We believe it can be used for good. It's hard during the week, so it's easier during Shabbos. And that's what we're going to learn here in the Zohar. So you say, and Shabbos began. The Bariu the Gufin, there was creation of the bodies on the good side. Visaru the Ruchim Misitra the Tav, you by Lila, and the arousal that of the Ruchin, which would be used for good, was on this night. In other words, Shabbos comes in, and the Gufin, which the rest of the week might not have, are harder to use the Shem Shemayim, especially after the sin. And it was almost the case that the Gufin, the Ruchin Roin, so to speak, were given those Gufin. No, they were saved. And therefore, the Gufin, ultimately the Gufin which exists, can be used for Toiv, with the right spirit. So the Moli Aktim Sitra Achra Bahai Laila. The it's a close call, but the Gufin were attached that night to the Ruchin of good. The Moli Aktim Sitra Achra by Lelia, and had the Sitra Achra jumped the gun at this night after the Chedon Rishon and took charge. At the low yaktim besitra the toiv until the before the side of good could come along. Loich amal mekan kamayu. So we're not able to exist. I feel regal chada, even for a moment, because all chaymer, all gufin, would be seized by the mazikin, by the negative forces. Abbas vasa acting kuchabrichu. But Akash Baruch Hu brought the refuah before the makkah. He brought the asfasa of Shabbos. The dali kami kedusha di yoima. They're skipped in front of him, which is an interesting lashon. And it says, brings in it says that here, from here we learn the tzarich lasif michol ala kodesh. Shabbos is supposed to begin early. Now, Chazal say that is because it looked to people, would have looked to people as if Akash Baruch began Shabbos after Shabbos began, because he did it mamish precisely when Shkia took place, whenever the date should change one day to the other day. But here it says that it's a different Zohar is a different take. The Zohar says that we're moisif from Kodesh Anchol, meaning that the Ruach. This is the yesod, the idea. Using the word sod is counterproductive. This idea of the kodesh overtaking and using the chol. Tosefes Shabbos is the kodesh impacting on the chol and making the chol capable of being kodesh. The acting kami sitra achra, and it came before the sitra achra. B'skai ma'alma, the world was sustained. Ma the choshev sitra achra is bani ba'alma. And that which the Sitra Achel thought to be built in this world, the forces of evil to take over the material existence of the world, listakva, to attack, is bani ba'alayla Sitra the Toif. Shabbos came and built it from the side of good. Listakva is bani gufin veruchin kadishin ba'alayla. And with Shabbos came the capacity of gufin and ruchin to be kadishin together, to fuse the ruach of good with the gufin. Sitra the top from the good side. Uvekin kach, and as a result of this, onosan the chachimin, the yadida, the time for chachamim who know this secret of Shabbos and the use of Shabbos to bring kodesh and take hold of chol, means that the owner of Tamid Chachamim, the time when they're supposed to have tashmish, the time when they're supposed to have relations with their wives, is dafka Friday night. It's specifically Friday night because that's the time when an act which seems to be an act of complete chomrius, a complete material and sensual activity, can be made actually something an act of kedusha. It's infused with the kedusha of Shabbos, the kedusha of Tov, which is manifest in Shabbos and is able to take over the gufin on Shabbos. It's harder the rest of the week, possible, but in Shabbos it's much easier. Their owners mean Shabbos l'Shabbos. The ha kidain, in this way, actually there's a gillion here in the Derech Emes. It says, Izbanon ruchin v'gufin kadishin. The ruach and guf come together in kedusha. And the kidain chamas da sitra achra. And at this point, the Sitra Achra sees the command the Chashivas Lemabad. What it thought it would do is take over these acts and make them completely base and corrupt. Avide Sitra Kedusha. The Sitra Kedusha took over, and it's not happy that evil is not happy that is the case. That is, say that the Sitra Kedusha took over. So it looks for an opening to try and reassert itself. But that's the next part of the Zohar, and we will leave that for tomorrow.